stays in the hand of the black individual, simply because most of the black individuals do not have businesses to which they could trade amongst and between themselves, and they are quick to take the money back to the dominant society in buying from their shopping malls, in filling up from the petrol stations. Now that's why when you begin to establish a system where you can trade amongst yourself by barter, you will discover how that you're thriving on your own interest-free currency. No more poverty. They no longer have to produce 3 times their needs and sell 2/3 of it to pay artificial interest payments to banks. They don't have to worry about overdraft charges because Mr. A has borrowed Mr. B the loan because Mr. A runs a business and he could give Mr. B an emergency loan. So Mr. B does not have to pay the dominant society's banks in overdraft charges and interest rates on the loans. So these thousands of dollars that could have been paid to the bank could have stayed with this community. They will not accept cash of any kind or even the physician's value of gold. Barter, whether we use our own self-created currency or whether we use electronic trade credits from barter exchanges and networks, is a perfect next step in our realization that we are all one, because it will move us away from the banks, which are literally stealing our health, wealth, love, peace of mind, labor, production, talent, spirit, our lives. You may wish to explore cryptocurrency. Barter is a fabulous way to get out from under the international banksters. The government itself uses barter, and 68% of all Fortune 500 corporations are involved in barter. You think they don't know what works? Since banking is fraud, then any other alternative banking system, for instance, the gold standard, is still fraud. Unless, as Tim Madden says, someone out there has $1 quadrillion to bail out the banks. We are headed for a financial collapse. If we do not have barter in place, there will be suffering. Money is purely and simply an illusion used by the banks to steal the efforts of our production and to enslave us all. It will behoove us all to get out of the fraudulent banking system sooner than later. Barter, however, still suggests a debtor-creditor relationship. We are at our happiest when we are being who we really are. Whether this is lending our energy, exceeding our talents, giving our time, I contend that women will be the first to get moving on this, because while men continue to compete, women's nature is to be cooperative. Essentially, women can and will make the quantum leap from nightmare to awake. Peace. As the scripture goes, perfect peace. Peace at such a time as this. Time is actually speeding up or collapsing. For thousands of years, the Schumann resonance or pulse heartbeat of Earth has been 7.83 cycles per second. The military has used this as a very reliable reference. However, since 1980, this resonance has been slowly rising. It is now over 12 cycles per second. This means that there is the equivalent of less than 16 hours per day instead of 24 hours, which is the old standard. The message is to follow our hearts, our gut feelings and intuitions, not our intellect. What needs doing now. You need to get things done as soon as possible. Your instincts prompts you to do it. Because if you don't do what you must do, according to the promptness of your instinct, you've lost time. The message is to follow our hearts, our gut feelings, our intuition, our instincts, not our intellect, not the facts. We must be discerning with the feelings and information we process. Does it resonate with us? Works towards healing the planet and self, and say no to those who wish to control us? We are to honor our contracts. Our word is our bond. If you want to work for a company, make sure you get there according to your contracted times. When you're setting up businesses, make sure you deliver the produce at the right time. We are to honor our contracts. Our word is our bond, and not to make promises we can't keep. If there is the slightest doubt in our minds about what we are entering into, we have the authority to reject any offer of contracts. This applies to every area of our lives, commonly called learning to say no. There isn't anything wrong in saying no. If we dishonor ourselves by contracting where we really don't want to, there are serious consequences. The main one being our integrity and ethics are compromised. Again, we must listen to our intuition and not let anyone seemingly outside ourselves have any authority over us. We are not to let fear run us. No answer which comes from outside of us can have any value to us. Earning our living. We became coerced to believe that we are required to earn our keep. The movie from an example of the Matrix movie, where it states we are just batteries, the energy to feel the pleasure of the powers that be, those who never did, never will, and never even thought to work a day in their lives. When one is born into slavery, one tends not to question it. Unfortunately, the Protestant work ethic is still alive and well, shaming us into earning a living. Many of us have had jobs, careers which we loved, but rarely do I find anyone who is doing what he truly wants to do. The term working for someone else is vastly misunderstood. Everyone complains about it. Few understands its gravity. Usually, it is said within the context of you'll never get rich working for someone else, yet it's far more serious. Why would anyone do anything for someone else when it doesn't serve oneself first? What have you done for self? This is not about serving or not serving. This is about not fulfilling our God-given right, not to mention our God-given order to be joyful. As extensions of our Creator, we are co-creators. All we experience, we create. With our signatures, we create the funds we use to obtain what we think we want. Yet this has little to do with money. It has to do with our ability, desire, right, and expectation to create. Why are we made to feel as if we have to pay for this or indeed for anything? I've always wondered, and I always wondered, about the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelations. Surely there are more than these number on the planet who consider themselves worthy of the alleged rapture. So who are these people really? It might be those who ended their concern over their physical survival, the reason for commerce in the first place. It was the government's sole weapon of fear, which is what kept us playing this insidious game, chasing the almighty buck, the almighty dollar, believing it will save us. Question.